Hi and welcome to the Travel Boss. Today's video is about the top 10 things to do in Boston. Perhaps no other city in America holds as much history of the colonial and Revolutionary War era as Boston. It's not surprising then that its main sites have become a pilgrimage trail for Americans and for others who hope to get a sense of that history. But more than that, the Freedom Trail is a good introduction to today's city, connecting or passing close to some of its best-loved tourist attractions. Boston is easy to navigate on foot, as its major sites are relatively close, and America's first subway system, the T, connects its important neighborhoods. Let's get started. Number 10. Walk the Freedom Trail. The 3-mile Freedom Trail leads you past and into 16 of the city's principal historic monuments and sites. It's easy to follow by the line of red bricks on the sidewalk and by footprints at street crossings. Begin by picking up brochures on the attractions at the Visitor Center in the Boston Common before heading to the State House. The trail will take you to Old Granary Burying Ground, where Paul Revere, Samuel Adams, and John Hancock are buried. King's Chapel Burying Ground, Boston's oldest cemetery with the graves of Governor John Winthrop, and 2 Mayflower passengers. Old South Meeting House, where the ringing speeches of patriots spawned the Boston Tea Party, and the Old State House. This is Boston's oldest public building and the site of the Boston Massacre. Number 9. See a game or take a tour of Fenway Park. Known as America's most beloved ballpark, Fenway Park is one of the most fabled sports complexes in the country. And even if you're not a sports fan, a tour of it is both fun and interesting. The home of the Boston Red Sox looks much the same as it did when it opened on April 20, 1912. One of its most recognizable features is the Green Monster, the 37-foot green wall in left field, and the park still maintains some of the remnants of old-time baseball, such as the hand-operated scoreboard. It also has the lowest seating capacity in the major leagues, holding only 33,871 spectators, a fact that makes tickets exceedingly scarce. Number 8. Faneuil Hall. Known as the Cradle of Liberty, Faneuil Hall was built in 1740–42 by Huguenot merchant Peter Faneuil as a market hall and presented to the city on condition that it should always be open to the public. The ground floor is still occupied by market stalls. On the upper floor is a council chamber, which in the 18th and 19th centuries was the meeting place of revolutionaries and later abolitionists. On its 4th floor is the Ancient and Honorable Artillery Museum, with weaponry, uniforms, and paintings of significant battles. The adjoining Faneuil Hall Marketplace includes 3 long halls, Quincy Market, North Market, and South Market, dating from the early 19th century, now occupied by a lively assortment of shops, restaurants, and exhibitions. Number 7. Museum of Fine Arts Boston. One of the leading art museums in the country, the Boston Museum of Fine Arts excels in its collections of Impressionist paintings, ancient Egyptian treasures, Asian and Persian fine arts, and works from ancient Greece and the Middle East. Its newest and crowning achievement is the construction of an entire American wing to house, integrated in chronological order, outstanding collections of American paintings, furniture, decorative arts, folk art, silver, glassware, and design dating from pre-Columbian arts to the Art Deco and Modernist eras. Number 6. Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Set in a building with its eccentric creator modeled after a 15th century Venetian palace, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum displays its collections in rooms surrounding a 4-story central courtyard filled with flowering plants and fountains. The priceless 2,500-piece collection of paintings, sculptures, furniture, tapestries, decorative arts, books, and manuscripts reflect the personal taste and considerable expertise of Mrs. Gardner herself, whose own flamboyance further adds to the charm of the museum. Behind the palazzo, a 70,000-square-foot glass-clad building designed by Italian architect Renzo Piano creates new viewpoints for the original palazzo and stunning spaces for music and visual arts, allowing the museum to showcase exceptional contemporary works and artists. Number 5. Old North Church and Boston's North End. Boston's lively Italian neighborhood, known as the North End, is one of Boston's oldest. where the silversmith and activist leader Paul Revere lived at the time of the American Revolution. The Paul Revere House, which he bought in 1770 and lived in when he made his famous ride, is the only Patriot's home on the Freedom Trail and is open to tour. You can climb to the tower of Old North Church, where lanterns were hung in April 1775 to alert Paul Revere that British troops were headed to Lexington to arrest the Patriot leaders and confiscate the munition supplies. The beautiful white interior of the church still retains its historic box pews. Number 4. Newbury Street and Back Bay. Both atmospheric and fashionable. Boston's Back Bay, it was once underwater before a hill was leveled to fill it in, is the heart of the 19th century city, home of the proper Bostonian of legend. Streets of sedate brownstone and brick townhouses line the grid of streets between the Public Garden and the Fenway, bounded on the north by Storrow Drive and the Charles River Esplanade. Stroll its tree-lined streets, especially Newbury Street, to find an almost European atmosphere of small, mostly trendy, shops and boutiques, art galleries, and cafes and restaurants that spill out into sidewalk terraces. The architecture throughout the neighborhood is eclectic, with some fine examples of ornamental terracotta and brickwork. Number 3. Boston Public Library and Copley Square. The main square of the Back Bay area is surrounded by both old and ultramodern buildings. One side is formed by the Boston Public Library, founded in 1848 as the first publicly funded lending library in the country. Architect Charles Follen McKim designed the present building in 1895. Go inside to see the library's Renaissance Revival architecture and murals by John Singer Sargent and Edwin Abbey. Granite medallions over the entrance arches are the work of the preeminent American sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens. The 3 sets of bronze doors in the vestibule were created by Daniel Chester French. Regular art and architecture tours are among the several free things to do in Boston. Number 2. John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum. Dedicated to the memory of the 35th U.S. President, the museum is the official national memorial to JFK, designed by noted architect I.M. Pei, and opened in 1979. The museum, which stands on the shore south of the city, features 3 theaters, personal memorabilia, photographs, and historical exhibits that document the life of JFK and his presidency. Exhibits cover the presidential campaign trail, the Oval Office, First Lady Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy, and the Kennedy family. Interactive experiences here include the free and family-friendly highlights tours and the hands-on cart programs, which include the PT-109 story and a closer look at the race for space. Number 1. Massachusetts Institute of Technology. The 150-acre MIT campus is of special interest to fans of modern and postmodern architecture, a living museum of works by noted architects including Alvar Aalto, Eduardo Catalano, I.M. Pei, Frank Gehry, and Eero Saarinen. In addition, the campus displays hundreds of sculptures and art installations that you can see with the help of a self-guided walking tour map by artists such as Pablo Picasso, Henry Moore, Alexander Calder, Jacques Lipchitz, and Auguste Rodin. In the Hart Nautical Gallery are ship models, and the Compton Gallery shows contemporary art. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.